Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of your Polyglot Academy. In this series, we are attempting learning German as fast as possible. Today it's lesson 35 and we're going to talk about causal clauses with weil, da, denn, etc. So let's start. Firstly, we're going to start with an example. Ich bin zu spät, weil ich den Zug nach Düsseldorf verpasst habe, which means I'm late because I missed the train to Düsseldorf. And if we would consider this sentence, grammatically speaking, we can divide it into two different clauses. First, we have the main clause or Hauptsatz, ich bin zu spät. And secondly, we have the subordinate clause or Nebensatz, weil ich den Zug nach Düsseldorf verpasst habe. And you can see how this subordinate clause is adding extra information to the main clause and cannot exist on its own. Now, in this case, we said that we're going to talk about causal clauses, and this is a causal clause in this case because we're having a subordinate clause. It is adding extra information to the main clause, and it is mostly explaining the cause of the main sentence. So, for example, ich bin zu spät means I am late. Why am I too late? What is the cause of me being late? And then, with the help of a causal clause, we're simply explaining this reason. So, in this case, weil ich den Zug nach Düsseldorf verpasst habe, because I missed the train. And because of that, it is simply a way to explain the cause of something, and this is simply a causal clause. Now, in this case, it is also very important to remember that we're talking about subordinates because we have the conjunction weil, which is a subordinate conjunction, and we said that the verb always comes right at the end of a sentence. But we also have another peculiarity, and it is the fact that if we have a complex verb or a verb out of two words, such as in this case verpasst habe, which would be ich habe verpasst, which means I missed, the position of the two words is simply going to change. So normally you would say in the sentence ich habe, for example, den Zug verpasst, I missed the train. But because we're having a subordinate clause, the position of the two words is simply changing. So you're not going to say weil ich den Zug nach Düsseldorf habe verpasst, but you're going to say weil ich den Zug nach Düsseldorf verpasst habe. So you're not only putting the verb at the end of the sentence. If you're having a complex verb out of an auxiliary and a main verb, then you're going to change the position. So this is also very important to remember. Now here's the second example in order for you to understand it better. Da ich nichts zu tun hatte, ging ich schlafen, which means since I had to do nothing, I went to sleep, or because I had to do nothing, I went to sleep. And in this case, we could divide this complex sentence into two clauses. First, we have da ich nichts zu tun hatte, which is the subordinate clause or Nebensatz. And in this case, according to the conjunction da, which means since, you can understand that we're talking about a causal clause because it is not only adding extra information to the main clause, but it's explaining the reason behind the main clause. So in this case, ich ging schlafen or ging geschlafen in this case. Why did I go to sleep? Because I had nothing to do, since I had nothing to do. So you can understand that with causal clauses, we're simply trying to explain the reason behind what we would say in a main sentence. And this is also very important because it adds complexity to your vocabulary and also to your oral communications. Now, from this table, you can see the most important causal conjunctions we have in German. We simply have three: weil, which means because, da, which means since and because, depending on the context, and denn, which also means because or for in some cases. And here you can see also some examples. Ich bleibe zu Hause, weil es regnet. In this case, I'm staying at home because it's raining. So this is the reason behind it. This is the reason why I'm staying at home. Da ich müde bin, gehe ich früh ins Bett. So I'm getting early. I'm going to sleep early because I'm tired. And because I'm tired, da ich müde bin, is simply explaining the reason. And then kam nicht, denn war krank. He didn't come because he was sick. And by saying because he was sick, we're simply explaining the reason. Now, we have to pay attention in this case because depending on what we're using, depending on whether we're using weil, da, or denn, then we're going to have a subordinate or a coordinate sentence. Well, if we're going to use the conjunction denn, you know that denn is a coordinate conjunction. So the position of the verbs in the second sentence is not going to change. You can see it also by yourselves from the third sentence. Er kam nicht, denn er war krank. You have denn, which is the coordinate conjunction, and then subject, verb, and complement. So in this case, er war krank. But for subordinate sentences, such as the first one or the second one, then you know that the verb is going to come right at the end of the sentence. So you have it in weil es regnet. Regnet is the last word, and it is also the verb. And you also have this in da ich müde bin. Bin is the last word. So you can see how the verb is being put at the end of the sentence. And that is always the case for subordinate conjunctions and subordinate sentences. So please try, while learning these conjunctions, try also to learn at the same time whether they're subordinate or coordinate, because it's not always directly clear. Now, lastly, in order to conclude this lesson successfully, here are some exercises. Firstly, try to translate the following English sentences into German by using causal clauses. And the second exercise is simply to combine the given clauses into one sentence using weil, da, or dann, depending on what you like. So these are the three sentences. And if you have any questions, just don't hesitate and leave a comment. And as always, thanks for your attention and have a nice day.